Thanks for the support as a channel member, Fatty Man. Oh, Mrs Wearmouth, we finally did it. After 16 years of toiling away, Holme FC are finally a European club. I do know what that means. It means we can attract better players. We can push the club on to the next level. It's very exciting times for the club. What do you mean that's not what you mean? Check my email. Okay. Yeah, I'll do that now. Boys and girls, because we've hit the big time, apparently we now attract sponsors on our videos. So this video is brought to you by Super Club Soccer. So for those of you who don't already know, Super Club Soccer is a turn-based free-to-play football game that's available now on Steam. You can create your own player, customize them to your liking, and then take them and play with people from around the world. Different build options allow you to play in different styles, and each player in a team's individually controlled, meaning you can team up with your friends or with other players. They've got 3D or 2D views for the tactical turn-based gameplay, and you can create a club with your own badge and kits to take on other clubs in tournaments. They've got 5-a-side or 11-a-side modes available. Tournaments provide competitive online games. And best of all, you can download the game right now on Steam. There's a link at the top of the description. And by doing so, you're not only supporting the channel, you're supporting Holme FC and Mrs Wearmouth. Because I'm assuming this all comes back through to us in the transfer kitty. She hasn't fully explained how it all works, but this was her idea. Go download it now, boys and girls. Hello, welcome to part 125 of Homegrown. I'm Kev, and yes, I realise I'm a little bit overexposed. It's the ongoing saga of the air conditioning. It's not on because I still think it's too loud, even though you lot reckon you can't hear it. But I have got it set up, hanging out the window, because this is a transfer special, and I'm constantly recording little clips where I want to have the fan on, basically. But look, this is what we've got over there, hanging out the window. Bottom line, that was a bad idea, because now that tripod's not going to go back where it was. Bottom line, I'm not going to keep pulling that hose in and out the window to turn the air conditioning on in between clips. Can we get the camera in the right place now? Oh, can't see my YouTube plaque. Hideous. There you go. That's near enough. Shall we do the transfer special, boys and girls? What was that intro? I'm marginally slightly overexposed. It is a problem that's going to be solved anytime, because I've got some blackout curtains on the way to solve having to put my blinds up and down. There'll be a video or two where I look like I'm in bright sunlight. Because I'm in bright sunlight, let's do the season review. How do we get into the season review? There we go. So best season in the history of the football club, certainly when it comes to league position wise. Obviously we didn't win anything, but we have, we think, qualified for Europe for the first time, and that's what we should be finding out any moment. Review of the signings from last season, as you would expect. Park got signing of the season, just like we all assumed that he would. I think the real important thing to highlight from this is just how cheap he was. Only £275,000 for a player now valued at £37.5 million after playing half a season for us. Is possibly the best piece of business I've ever done. That being said, Veloso for 110,000, that's some pretty solid business as well. He's actually gone out on loan back to the MLS again. So he had the first half of the season in the MLS, came back, played a few games for us up until about March, and he's gone back to LA Galaxy, where he'll stay until Christmas, unless we recall him this summer. Once the transfer window opens, we'll have the option to recall him again. But part of me thinks just leave him there to carry on banging goals in America. Not that he's doing that necessarily yet, but it's all good stuff for his development. Francisco also came in, 11 goals from 20 starts. So he's a decent option as well. And then we've got a couple of other of these youngsters who've come in and got out on loan. All in all, got to call it a good summer of business last year, which then led to our highest ever league finish. Mrs Wearmouth inexplicably still just looking for us to avoid relegation. We ended up with a 7th place finish. Again, almost maxing out the new home of football. So I think a stadium expansion is in our future, especially with all the money we've got in the bank now through not buying players. Villalobos finished top scorer on 13 goals. And there is, I'm taking that as confirmation that we're in the Conference League. Weirdly, Bournemouth in the Conference League as well, which isn't how I read it when we looked through the rules in the last episode. So catching Bournemouth yesterday wouldn't have made any difference by the looks of it, because we've both ended up in the Conference League. On our moments to remember, a couple of big wins in there, which is always lovely to see. And this is the summary of the finances and reputation. So our reputation is still 4-star continental, despite the fact we've never played in a continental competition. We correct that this summer, but having a 4-star reputation is significant when it comes to attracting players to the club, keeping players at the club, and hopefully we can get that up to 4.5 stars as soon as possible. And I think at 4.5 stars, players wanting to go to bigger clubs stops being an issue. So we need to get there ASAP. Money-wise, things aren't going to change massively from year to year until we get in the Champions League now, I don't think. Sponsorships up a little bit, broadcast revenues down a little bit, corporate's about the same, prize money's up a little, match day revenue about the same. I would expect that kind of situation to continue. Shirts-wise, Park's come in and sold more shirts than anybody. I think, again, as you would expect. Interesting to see Alex Williams finally starting to get the respect he deserves around here. The Jack Green fan club has started to go very quiet. I think we're all accepting the fact now that Alex Williams is a very good goalkeeper and has sold more shirts than everybody other than Park this season. Gregoire, Villalobos and Ali Basic still in there as well as fan favourites. Ali Basic's an interesting one because he didn't play a lot of football this season because of injuries. This was our team of the year then. Interesting to see we're in the 4-2-3-1, but with Villalobos behind Francisco, rather than just, they won't fully commit to a 4-2-4. But the team of the year was Williams in goal, a back four of Perez, Anderson, Fazekas and Thomas. Ali Basic does make it into the team of the year. Only started 15 games all year, though. It shows that he's a very important player when he's fit, but that shows just how injury-ravaged his season has been. He's only made 20 appearances, and 5 of them are from the bench. Gregoire alongside him, and then Richardson, Villalobos, Park and Francisco as a front four. I think that probably is the front four of the season, just not in that arrangement, because I don't think I've ever played Villalobos as an attacking midfielder. Awards-wise, Richardson wins Player of the Year and Young Player of the Year. It's the last year he can win Young Player of the Year at 23. Park, as we've already seen, is signing of the season, goal of the season and top scorer, both going to Villalobos. Richardson got most assists and highest average rating. Passotti in with most pass completion, but nobody cares about that award. And Fazekas has made it, as in fact, Fazekas has won the English Players Young Player of the Year. I think for the second year in a row, he's won that, which is interesting. And then we've set some club records as well. Most assists in a season. That's a new record for Kenlyn Richardson, presumably breaking a record that was held by Slam Dunk at some point. We have a lot of history of a lot of goals coming off that left-hand side. Most league appearances for Kieran Hodgkinson. He's extending his previous record out to 435. But Sir Harrison Davies has now set himself a new record. He's no longer the most appearance-did player, but he is now our oldest ever player at 32 years old. It's sickening that Harrison Davies is now 32 years old. And of course, Enoch Abagai setting the record for highest transfer fee received at £91.5 million, which is ridiculous. It is ridiculous money for that player. I acknowledge that, and I'll try and buy him back for half of it, especially because, as we saw right at the end of yesterday's video, Fazekas is now injured, which is a big, big issue. Our class of 2021, this is a nice thing to be able to go back and have a little look at. It doesn't look like anyone's made it into the all-time best 11, but we can check in on some of these boys, see how they're getting on. So our 2021 golden generation, that included Harrison Davies, Kieran Hodgkinson, Bachelorette Pitetta, John van der Laan. Remember Van der Laan? So Bachelorette Pitetta is now at Partick Thistle at 32 years old. So he was at Blackpool for a long time. And then he's had 5 years in Scotland playing for Partick Thistle now. Van der Laan, also now 32, is at Lincoln. So still playing league football after all these years. Never really got a chance. We played him as a central midfielder in that first year because Slam Dunk was in the way as a winger. And it looks like he played in the second year as well. Then we just started loaning him out before eventually selling him to Charlton. And he's been a bit of a lower league journeyman since then. He's done Charlton, Wigan, Plymouth, Leyton Orient and Lincoln. And seems like a very solid League One player. Nearly 600 league appearances for John van der Laan. Maybe we should have given that boy more of a chance. Slam Dunk's managing Arsenal. When did that happen? My word. Nobody tells me anything. Slam Dunk is the new manager of Arsenal. I need to know when he went. Arsenal. managers. The slam dunk has been at Arsenal since January and I've not noticed. So that last time we played Birmingham, they weren't slam dunks Birmingham anymore. But slam dunk now at Arsenal, he's going to end up England manager, isn't he? He is going to end up higher on the Hall of Fame than me. And that's going to trouble me greatly. Micah Beerith is now playing in Australia for Adelaide United, where he's still not scoring as many goals as he used to score for us. Terrell Whitaker is at Mansfield. 33 now, Terrell Whitaker. It's so mad seeing how old these boys are. Oliver Wright is at Wrexham, where he's just gone from having spent a number of years at Newport. He's played nearly 500 league appearances as well. We picked some players who've had some good history of league football here. Teddy Davey, who I think was our first signing, if I recall. He's been at Corinthian Casuals forever. Callum Cisse is at Alfreton, back down in non-league after 10 years playing in the Football League. I don't even remember Will Tizard. Ethan Hartshorn. Actually, I think Ethan Hartshorn, maybe he was the first signing. One of them two. But he's at Oxford City. And then there's players who've now retired. Marcus Meir, a few that I don't recognise. Danny Pritchard, of course, has retired. Henry Barton. That was the class of 2021-22, which is now 15 years ago, which is ridiculous. Oh, don't I feel old? Right, Mrs Wearmouth is finally getting a little bit more ambitious and is looking for a mid-table finish. This is the first year she's not asked for us to avoid relegation. A mid-table finish and a quarter-final in the Conference League. I think we can deliver that. I'd like to think we can go a little bit further than that in the Conference League. And in my mind, within the next year or two, we should be qualifying for the Champions League. It might be a year too early for us this coming season. It really depends how good Elias is. If we'd have had Fazekas fit, or if we hadn't have sold Abagai, maybe we could have gone for Champions League this year. I think we're just going to be a little bit too light at the back this coming season. And especially if Gregoire leaves as well, who there is a price on his head. So if Gregoire leaves as well, I think we potentially would have to be looking at mid-table finish. But if we can find the right defender, and it might be Elias, then it's not outside the realms of possibility that we could get into that top four. Yeah, let's go to China. Why not go to China? Passotti is apparently wanted by somebody. Bordeaux. He ain't going to Bordeaux. There's your confirmation. Fazekas won Young Player of the Year. And Premier League Goal of the Season went to Villalobos. Got 2 award winners. Lovely stuff. We still haven't had the transfer budget, although we've still got £66 million left, largely from the Abagai deal. Next season's minimum budget is 29 million, so presumably we just keep the 66. Oh, there you go. We've been bumped up to 70, so we've got a little bit of extra money, 70 million to spend, and our facilities have been downgraded. So with all the money we've got in the bank, we should be able to up our youth facilities. And in fact, any facilities that potentially need upping, we should be looking to up them. I'm also going to ask if we can expand the stadium. So we'll just see what Mrs Wearmouth thinks about those 2 things. So she's not going to do... We believe the current level of facilities are good enough to develop a good enough standard of player. We want the best player, Mrs Wearmouth, not a good enough standard of player. Please. There you go. She's now accepted my request. And we are expanding the stadium. So we're bumping the stadium up to... I mean, that's only an extra 2,500 seats. But I guess it's only costing us 2.5 million and it's going to be done before the season starts. So on that, I mean, yeah, that's fine. I would have liked an extra 10,000 or something, though. Be interesting to see how close we come to filling that. And now it's just a case of waiting for the right player. There is somebody who I'd really like to sign. There's your youth facilities work going through. We're not going to get him and we don't really need him, but this guy is a genuine wonder kid. Again, at 18, you don't get a lot of these come up, but genuine wonder kid. He's a right winger, which obviously we don't need because we've got Park. He can also play central midfield, which he could be a replacement for Gregoire in there, although he is a different kind of player. Doesn't have the defensive oomph that Gregoire does. He's 4-star current ability. The only problem is we've already tried to go in for him. We made a £38 million offer earlier towards the end of last season, and he refused to even discuss terms with us. So the players who are really top tier that we'd like to bring in, not necessarily interested in us. We can look at this next tier down, but none of them are going to walk straight into the team. So it's going to be another one of those summers of picking up what we can where we can. I don't think we need to rush into any signings, because if you look at the strength in depth we've got throughout the squad, we don't really need to rush. It would be nice to have another defender. If Abagai became available, I would love to be able to bring Abagai in, because Elias and Gillespie are not really Premier League level just yet. Harrison Davies, we don't really want to have to use. And of course, Fazekas is injured until Christmas. So that's the one area we'd like to strengthen. Centre back. And Abagai is the man. If Inter want to let him go, they've not really used him this season. A real top tier left winger might be nice. A midfielder to potentially replace Gregoire might be nice. But we're not desperate for players in any position. We've got a lot of young players who are going to keep getting better. We talk about the left wing. We've got AD Lillis sat there who can play on that left-hand side, and he's getting better and better all the time. It might be that this coming year is when AD Lillis emerges. Up front, you know, we've got Veloso, we've got Bayer, we've got Fulneck, we've got Little. We've got lots of players. So we don't need to rush into bringing in a load of new faces. We'll just wait for the right player. That German guy, if we can get him, we'll bring him in. If we find someone else as good as him, we'll bring them in. Otherwise, it might be, despite having all the money we've got, a quiet summer. Yeah, he doesn't. Our club stature isn't big enough for him to leave Bayern Munich, which, I mean, yeah, he's at Bayern Munich. You can kind of understand. It's just a shame he came through the youth system at Bayern. If he comes through at Stuttgart, we've got a chance. But why does a player like that leave Bayern when he's going to be in their first team next year, probably? We miss out on that one, and we hope more start to emerge. There you go. Apparently Bueno is ready for the first team squad. I would argue maybe not, but he either needs to play or move on at this point. So we'll bring him into the first team squad, have a look at him over the summer, and probably move him on. Well, first signing of the summer is in. It is Elias. We knew he was coming. Centre-back, 2.5-star current ability, 5-star potential ability. He's likely to be starting, which was not the plan, which is why we still might end up going back in for Abagai, because I'm just not sure if this guy is going to be ready. Attribute-wise, looks spot on. We shall see. Let's just welcome him in. We have tried for some other defenders as well. If we move over to here, this guy we tried to bring in, but he's decided to go to Liverpool instead. They're just waiting for his work permit to go through. So he turned us down to go to Liverpool. We're trying to bring this guy in, who is a Brazilian wonder kid, who probably isn't. I mean, he's definitely not ready. He's not as good as Elias yet, but it's another good defensive option to bring in. We've tried again for Torresano. Yeah, they rejected a really low offer. We've got this guy going for work permit. I don't know if I want to spend 52 million on this guy. He's a Spanish striker who can play anywhere across the attacking midfield three as well. He's a natural false nine who can also play as an advanced forward, trequartista. He's a very different kind of striker to what we've got at the moment. But if we're playing two up top, he might be exactly the kind of attacking foil that we need next to Villalobos. He's not particularly quick, but he's skillful. He's a nice dribbler, and he has scored goals at lower levels in his career. When he's been playing for the Sevilla C team, he absolutely rockets the goals in, but he has played 11 times in La Liga this season and only scored one goal. Then he is only 18, but then he's over 50 million pounds. And I have to think there's probably better ways to spend 50 million. So although we've got that deal potentially going through, I can't imagine we're actually going to do that deal. What we do need to check in on is our boy Enoch to see if there's any likelihood of us getting him back. Maybe even on loan. Of course, we can loan him. Can we be really cheeky and try and loan Enoch? What would we have to offer them? £250,000 a month? I mean, it's nothing. Absolutely nothing for the level that we're at. But it does solve the immediate Fazekas injured problem. They're not going to accept that, are they? Did you know Andrew McCartan's still at the club? I didn't. He's been out on loan for several years. Looks like he's going out on loan again. We should probably sell him at some point. But all of these have future fees involved. In fact, this one doesn't have a future fee. This is a rubbish offer. But you know what? Just let him do him. He can do what he wants. We must have given him the longest contract in the history of the football club for him to still be here. He's still got 2 years left on his contract. Absolutely inexplicable. And we'll just keep loaning him out. He's having a lovely old time. See, now this is a problem because we've agreed to accept offers above 83 million for Gregoire. But in my mind, that's not what this is. It's 64 million with instalments and stuff after international appearances and a sell on. I mean, it's a very, very good offer and he's expecting it to be accepted as promised. I haven't promised to accept this offer. When I say an asking price of 83 million, I'm expecting a flat 83 million. This is always a risk. He's got 4 years left on his contract. How's his professionalism? Because, see, that's a problem. Driven in pursuit of his goals. Competitive streak. He's got the potential to absolutely throw his toys out of the pram. But we need him. We can't replace... That's the thing. He's not replaceable. If this was any other save, he's replaceable. We can go out and buy another midfield player who'll be as good as he is. But that's not how this save works. We know that's not how this save works. The best current ability midfielder available is this guy, who is a very different kind of player. He's only 17. And actually, he might be half decent, but the fact he's only 17... only 45% scouted as well. I don't think he can come in until he's 18. But he's 18 next month. So we're replacing him with this kid who's played one game in La Liga. That's if we can even get him. I don't even know what kind of stupid money they're going to ask for. What have we got at the club? I mean, Kieran Hodgkinson could come back into the team. Ali Basic might be fit this season. Wally could maybe play deep. Perez could maybe play deep. Pasotti's still here. We've got players. I promised him he could go. I think we have to accept the offer. Slam dunk doing it as well. Absolute turd of a man that is slam dunk. Ruining me by taking my best player. He probably is, yeah, our best player. Come on, slam dunk. That really makes this tempting. It's £100 million offer. And if we have a look at the club vision, where Mrs Wearmouth has specifically said sign players to sell for a profit, Mrs Wearmouth's going to tell me to... We've got to accept it. I don't feel good about it at all. Well, I guess if Gregoire's going, we're going to throw some money around. So Juan Jose has come in after all. He's the striker we were looking at before from Sevilla, who can play anywhere across the attacking midfield three. I'm thinking perfect strike partner for Villalobos. If I end up being wrong, I've just spent £52 million on a player we don't really need. But I look at these when he was younger. I mean, he was 15 when he was doing that. I know these are lower levels, but he's definitely got goals and assists in him. So fingers crossed, we've got a superstar. If not, the last two players we spent massive on were Abagai and Gregoire. And we've sold them both on for extraordinary amounts of money. The thing with buying these really expensive wonder kids at this kind of age, even if you throw a lot of cash at them, even if this guy doesn't really work out, I think we can all admit Abagai wasn't all that. He'll be a wonder kid, a 20-year-old wonder kid with 2 years Premier League experience in 2 years' time, and he's a striker. And then all of a sudden, 80, 90 million pounds is realistic, maybe. It's a bit of a gamble, but I think it's a gamble we had to take, or else we'd just be sat there with 70 million in the bank at the end of the summer again. I've got to stop being afraid to spend money. I'm going to regret that one, aren't I? So there's your confirmation that Gregoire has gone. Still only 19, still a wonder kid, playing regularly for Belgium. I mean, long term, we're probably going to regret letting him go, but we never know how disruptive he would have been if he'd have stayed. So I think we had to make that decision. Slam dunk, I will not forgive you, you absolute monster. Club Brugge have made a nice little profit out of that as well. The one silver lining to that is this guy's just been recommended to come up to my first team squad. We've actually got a left back, Slavomir Kavalik, 19-year-old Polish full international who actually came through our youth team. He's been out on loan, did a year at Bristol Rovers, done a year at Aberdeen. He's now back with us and he's 5-star potential. I'm sure he's a wonder kid. He is. We've had another wonder kid come off our academy, our conveyor belt. He plays centre-back as well, which he might have to do depending on how desperate things get. But he is part of this first team squad. We've got a left back. We've signed a goalkeeper, boys and girls. I don't know how I feel about this. You know I'm very much an Alex Williams loyalist, but Marcos Perez is an Argentinian, 18, obviously 18, 2.5-star, 5-star potential goalkeeper. He's already as good as Tristan McDonald, almost as good as Alex Williams, potential to be far better than either of them. Let's do the traditional goalkeeper comparison with Williams. As you can see, Williams still better in key areas, shot stopping and distribution now, but Perez is already better in the air, slightly more eccentric, not ideal, but better communication. I'd argue probably not yet, as he doesn't yet speak English. Williams has got better mentals, but Perez is quicker and also slightly better with physical as well. He's 6'1" compared to 6'2", although we know at 18 there's a potentially could still get a little bit bigger. We've got our new cup goalkeeper. Poor old Tristan McDonald is probably done at this point. The question now is, do I loan Perez out for a year or two to get him some experience, or do we hope he develops just through playing in the cups? Or do we just throw him straight into the first team? We probably won't do that one. Well, we missed out on one Turkish wonder kid centre-back to Liverpool earlier in the summer. We have managed to pick up an international teammate, Erkan Cam, who for some reason the game thinks is a right back. I would suggest definitely a centre-back. He's 6'1", quite apart from anything else, and we don't need any more right backs. 2.5-star current ability, 5-star potential ability. We've now got quite the selection of average centre-backs. With Fazekas injured, it'll be Anderson with one of Elias, Gillespie, Cam, Rogers, or even Sir Harrison Davies. But at least we've got another defender in. He's in from Galatasaray for £10.25 million. We've also sold a couple of players. Let's have a little look to see who we've been selling. Lakinas has gone for 4.1 million. We already know about Gregoire. Derek McGowan, remember him? He's 25 now. He's the young centre-back who we sent out on loan for years and years and years. We've finally got a fee for him. He's gone to Brighton, so he's moved on as well. There's a couple of others we're trying to get rid of, the likes of Cameron Little and other players like that who are now in their early 20s and are just never going to make the breakthrough for us. But we are slowly but surely putting a team together. We are missing a big hole in the middle of it. We're relying a lot on Ali Basic being fit to play this year. Hodgkinson might be finding himself back in the team. Perez might be playing central midfield along with Wally. A lot of these players we bought to be tippy-tappy attacking midfielders are going to have to reinvent themselves as tough tackling central midfielders. Best player at the club is now considered to be Park, as you would expect. And if we can find a way to make the finances work, we are going big on one more signing. This guy from Barcelona, 66 million. He's a left winger. He's a striker. It's an enormous transfer. But we do need a little bit more on that left-hand side. I'm not sure if we're going to be able to find a way to make that work, though. We probably could by shuffling the wage budget around. I'd also still like to bring in Douglas Allen as well. But we need a couple more players to leave. McCartan still hasn't gone. There's offers for Ola Richards. I don't want to sell him. But Ricky Hughes could maybe go. He's 22 now. Merrin's already leaving. Little's been offered out, but we haven't had any offers in yet. Darren Collier might be leaving as well. I'm going to bring Allen in because we need defenders more than we need a luxury attacker. With Collier, I think we got an £8.5 million offer for Collier, who, if you recall, was the central midfielder we brought in our final year in the Championship. He played most of that season and just fell down the pecking order when we hit the Premier League. So he's moving on. There you go. That's Douglas Allen, 2.5-star current ability. So he's another one who will probably get game time because we've not got much else at the back. What we have got is a nice selection of centre-backs now with 5-star potential. We're opening the door for one or two of them to emerge as stars for us. Elias, Kowalik, Cam, Allen. They've all got 5-star potential. We need a couple of them to step up and prove that they're ready now. I've just moved those buttons the wrong way around. That he's got 3-star current ability. That's interesting. He's probably not fully scouted yet. No, so we'll keep him scouted. And it looks like the season has just ticked over. Has it? No. So we can't look at the Media Dream 11 just yet, but it's in the process of ticking over. And we've just got to hope we can get players out in time to get Jordi or Geordie. What is it? He's Spanish. That would be Jordi, I want to say. If we can get him in, it will be another record purchase. And then that'll be it. Our money will be gone then, and we'll just have to see if we were right to sell Gregoire or if history paints me as being a buffoon. It could set us back several years, or it could be the most inspired piece of transfer business I've ever done. What's Mrs Wearmouth up to? Wants to give me more money for my technical director. Fine. I'm never going to say no. Mrs Wearmouth, we don't need to have these meetings. I'm always going to say yes to stuff like that. I'm always happy to get more money for anything, anywhere, ever. Well, after much shuffling around, we've managed to bring Jordi in. 3.5-star current ability, 4-star potential, wonder kid who's a natural inverted winger on that left-hand side. This doesn't look good for Kenlyn Richardson. He can play up front as well, so he might fit into the team there. Who knows? We've just signed a player off of Barcelona. On the flip side of that, we've just spent £66 million on a player who's played one first-team top-flight game. So this is how you get the wonder kids. You throw money at them. I mean, he's good. He's better than pretty much anyone else we've got in the squad. So we've certainly strengthened the attack. We've strengthened the defence. I just wonder if the midfield is going to be strong enough based on losing Gregoire. That's also our 6 foreign under-21 players for the year we're allowed to bring in are now in. So we've signed Elias, Juan Jose, Perez, Cam, Douglas Allen, and, of course, Jordi. Players leaving the club to fund that deal. David Grieve has moved on. Who the hell is David Grieve, I hear you ask? We spent £3.5 million on him last summer and thought, you know what? He's 4-star potential. Let's just sell him on for a profit. So he's gone to Bristol City. Who else did we sell off? Andrew McCartan's finally gone for 1.9 million. Darren Collier, who we were talking about before, now 23 years old. We signed him for £3.9 million 6 years ago now. He's been out on loan pretty much ever since. We've sold him for £8.5 million. We've also sold Cameron Little, £5 million. He's gone to Dusseldorf. Bit of a loss on that one. He cost us 18 million. We've sold him on for 5. But it freed up some cash for us now. Zapatar's gone to Sporting Gijón. Again, 23 years old now. He was out on loan there last year, in fact, and they've paid £3.9 million for him. Another midfielder gone. Let's not worry too much about that. And the other big news with Jordi and Jose both coming in, I've now accepted an offer for Ola Richards. He's still also only 23 years old, and we've had a £10 million offer from Empoli for him. So he's probably going to be on his way as well. And then that is the squad done, I think. If we have a look at the finances, we've spent all our money. We're still within budgets. We've cleared out the bank balance. Lovely job clearing out the bank balance. And this is what our squad depth looks like. Up front, apparently Ali Basic's the best striker at the club. We won't play him there, don't we? We've got a lot of good strikers. The first 3 are all midfielders, but Villalobos, Francisco, Jordi, Bayer, Veloso's back from his loan in the MLS, where he got 7 goals in 10 games for LA Galaxy. He's definitely a finisher and still only 18 as well. We got him very young. We've still got Fullneck as well, knocking around the place, who's a star everywhere he goes, apart from with us. Bueno's back in as well. So we've got lots of striker options. On the left, we've got Richardson, Jose, Jordi. Lillis can play either side. Richards is probably on his way out. On the right, we've got Park, Oliveira, Perez, Francisco, Ali Basic, Wally. They can all play over there. Lillis as well. Loads of wingers. Central midfield. This is where we're a little bit light, but I'm hoping Perez can convert to central midfield as effectively as Oliveira did last year. His 5 tackling might be a problem. But if we can keep Ali Basic fit, we can, and hopefully get a resurgence out of Kieran Hodgkinson, maybe convert Wally back there as well. We've definitely got options, just not much in the way of a tough tackling option. We'll just have to hope one emerges. At left back, we've got the new boy Kowalik, Perisato, and Thomas can also play there, as can Rogers. Right back, Perisato, Gillespie, Thomas. We've still got Djukatic. We've still got Hippolyte, where we've loaned him out. At centre-back, Fazekas is going to be fit again within 3 to 5 months. So second half of the season, he'll be back. Until then, we've got Jørn Andersen, we've got Gillespie, Cowlick can both play there. Harrison Davies, the 3 youngsters who came in this summer, who are in the under-23s at the moment. We're probably going to loan a couple of them out, but 1 or 2 might make it into the first team. And then in goal, Williams for now, Perez for the future. That looks like a finished squad to me. Watch something else mad happen. 3 times now. We're on a pre-season tour in China. So he's out in a Chinese nightclub this time. 3rd time since Christmas. What group is he in on the mentoring now? Let's just shuffle that around. Where's he been put? He needs to be in that one with Kieran Hodgkinson. At the moment, he's not in one. Hold on. He was in one. Let's add him in there. Yeah, get him in that group with Kieran Hodgkinson. We've got to sort him out because otherwise, problem. Big, big problem. Yes, you can go on loan there, whoever you are. Who on earth is La Cagnina? I don't even know who this guy is. We signed him from Spal for £6 million years ago. Yeah, go out on loan. I'd rather you went permanently, but if they're going to pay your wages, of course you can go out on loan. They're not going to. We'll try and sell him, I think. Pretty sure this is the 2nd time in this save I've been offered the England job now. Yeah, that looks about right. He did it for a year. Also, France and Portugal are interested. It is very tempting. While the Euros are going on, or just about to start in real life, very tempting to be able to put international team logos in thumbnails. Just realised my microphone was all the way over there. Professional. I wonder if any of that was usable. If not, just leave that out, Kev. It's fine. It's not that important. Didn't get the England... I was offered the England job. Didn't take it. Right, we have been practicing European games all summer. We had the Wearmouth Cup with Ajax, Real Madrid and Sparta Prague down to play, and we won it. We also had friendlies against PAOK, who we beat, Monaco, who we beat. We're ready for Europe. Let's see who we're going to face in what I think is the final qualifying round before you get through to the group stages. Obviously, we want to avoid the likes of Sevilla. Anyone else I think we can take. In fact, they're the seeded team, so we're not even going to get a seeded team. This should, you would think, be a formality to just see us through. A Polish team or a Serbian team, I think we're probably going to be okay. We don't know which one of those that we're going to be playing yet. I guess that will be, we'll have to do it in a video. We'll probably do a double header. We'll start the league season tomorrow with Arsenal and Man United. What a way to start a league season. And then do the Europa Conference League qualifying games the next day. I think that's probably best. Look at all these injuries we've accumulated this summer, by the way. In addition to Fazekas, who's still going to be out for 4 more months, Richardson, Villalobos, Lillis, Thomas, Veloso and Yordi, all likely to miss the start of the season against Arsenal. This is a long way from ideal. All of which brings us through to the first game of the new season, or first day of the new season. So we've still got like 3 weeks of transfer window to go. You can see we've got our transfer budget back up to £17 million because we've shipped out a few more players. Most notable amongst the ones that have left, Sam Gillespie has left the club for £9 million. He's gone to Cagliari. I just figured with the emergence of the new left back we've got, we don't need 4 right backs at the club anymore. Gillespie was the one with the least upside when it came to potential. I was tempted to keep him around because he can play centre-back as well, but we've just signed a lot of centre-backs. I don't think we need him. At 22, I don't think he's ever going to hold down a regular first-team starting spot. We also sold Ola Richards, who I can't find him on the list of players who've left. There he is. Went to Empoli for £13 million. Can't remember if I told you about him before. But he's moved on. Lots of players have gone out on loan, as you can see. And Dan Taylor left the club to go to Brentford permanently as well for £190,000. One of our name in the game players who looks like he's going to go into Brentford and get regular football. They've given him the number 1 shirt. So we have got a little bit of money to spend, but it has to be on British-based players because we've signed our 6 overseas youngsters for the season. We have a lot of players unavailable for the start of the new season. Cowlick is both suspended and on international duty. And then we've got that long injury list that we looked at before where we're missing Fazekas, Yordi, Veloso, Richardson, Thomas and Lillis, or in fact Thomas. Thomas is available, I think. In fact, so is Richardson. These are recently recovered players. So it's not actually as bad as I thought it was. This is likely to be the team that goes into that first game of the new season. So pretty much the system you've been used to us seeing, other than we've been able to move the playmaker over to the right now so they don't get in Perisato's way because we don't have a left-footed central midfielder anymore. And so Perez is the first one to give that a go. He only has 5 for tackling, so it's going to be a very different kind of holding midfield player. But we'll see what he can come up with, I guess. And we're also tweaking the second striker. Jose is going to be a deep lying forward because it's his best attacking role, other than false 9. I've never really got a false 9 working. So he's going to be there as a support striker for today. Francisco will play as the main striker, but it will usually be Villalobos or Veloso or Bayer. Lots and lots of options. We are a little light at the back, but players will be returning soon enough. That's the plan anyway. If you've enjoyed that, please make sure you leave a nice big thumbs up on there for me. Subscribe to the channel for daily Football Manager videos. And thank you very much for watching.